हुई है, उस बात को आगे बढ़ाते हुए इस बात को शर्मिला दीदी आज पूरी तरह से कंक्लूड करेंगी, समाप्त करेगी। उसके बाद में 1 घंटे का ब्रेक रहेगा और फिर 9:30 से 10:30 तक जो मॉड्यूल 3 है, फैमिलराइजेशन ऑफ डिपार्टमेंट ब्रांच एंड इनोवेशन, इसको एकेजी कॉलेज से प्रस्तुत किया जाएगा। इसके बाद जो 15 मिनट के ब्रेक के बाद में 10:45 से जो सेशन हमारा शुरू होगा, उस सेशन में मॉड्यूल नंबर 4 के बारे में एक सैम्पलर प्रस्तुत किया जाएगा, विजिट टू लोकल एरिया। और इस विजिट टू लोकल एरिया में आज हम एलोरा, जो कि एक वर्ल्ड हेरिटेज डेस्टिनेशन है, उस डेस्टिनेशन को वर्चुअली विजिट करेंगे। इस मॉड्यूल 4 की प्रस्तुति के बाद में जो नेक्स्ट रहेगा, वो बेसिकली जो स्टूडेंट इंडक्शन प्रोग्राम के आर्किटेक्चर रहे हैं डॉक्टर शिशिर गौर, he is PhD from IIT Delhi and now working as an assistant professor in the Department of Civil Engineering, IIT BHU. साथ ही साथ डॉक्टर रुचिर गुप्ता, he is PhD from IIT Kanpur and working as an associate professor in the Department of CSE, IIT BHU Varanasi. And Dr. Vivek Kumar, PhD from IIT Delhi, Professor, Center for Rural Development and Technology, IIT Delhi. तो इनके साथ में फैकल्टी मीटिंग्स है। फैकल्टीज जो कुछ कंसर्न्स है, क्वेश्चंस है, वो रुचिर जी के साथ में, सुशील जी के साथ में और विवेक जी के साथ में रख सकते हैं। इस सेशन में स्टूडेंट्स भी जुड़े रहेंगे, तो ये भी एक कॉमन सेशन रहेगा। इस सेशन के बाद में हम लंच ब्रेक लेते हुए फिर ESIP का जो कंक्लूडिंग सेशन है, जिसे सेलिब्रेशंस के रूप में हम लोग कह रहे हैं, उस सेलिब्रेशन को स्टार्ट होगा। सेलिब्रेशन बेसिकली 2 फेज में होगा, 2 to 3:30 PM, जिसमें क्लोजिंग सेरेमनी है। क्लोजिंग सेरेमनी के लिए हमें आशीर्वचन देने के लिए जो चीफ गेस्ट है आज के क्लोजिंग सेरेमनी के, वो भारत सरकार के आदरणीय शिक्षा मंत्री डॉक्टर रमेश पोखरियाल जी हमारे साथ हमें आशीर्वचन देने के लिए और इस क्लोजिंग सेरेमनी के लिए रहेंगे। साथ ही साथ AICTE के चेयरपर्सन, AICTE के मैनेजिंग डायरेक्टर, AICTE के डिप्टी चेयरपर्सन, NCCIP की चेयरपर्सन और NCCIP के सभी सदस्य इस प्रोग्राम में हमारे साथ में शामिल रहेंगे। उसके बाद जो आखिरी सेशन है इस ESIP का, वो सेशन सेलिब्रेशन पार्ट 2 में जो क्रिएटिव प्रैक्टिसेस आप लोगों ने दी थी, है ना, क्रिएटिव प्रैक्टिसेस का जो मॉड्यूल है, उस मॉड्यूल को अर्जुन अस्थाना जी ने जो लिया था और उसके बाद में उन्होंने जो एक्सरसाइजेस दी थी आपको, और बहुत ही ओवरवेलमिंग रिस्पांस रहा उस पूरे एक्सरसाइज से लेकर। तो वो जो ड्रामा, पेंटिंग्स, म्यूजिक और बाकी 5 प्रकारों में, टोटल 8 प्रकारों में आपको जो एक्सरसाइज दी गई थी, उस एक्सरसाइज का एग्जीबिशन सेलिब्रेशन में होगा। और उसके साथ फिर हम ये जो ESIP को कंक्लूड करेंगे। ये बेसिकली एक सैम्पलर के रूप में है, एक उदाहरण के रूप में प्रस्तुत किया जा रहा है, ताकि जब भी कॉलेजेस जब फर्स्ट ईयर शुरू होगा और उससे पहले जो AICTE का गाइडलाइन के अनुसार, AICTE के मैंडेट के अनुसार स्टूडेंट इंडक्शन प्रोग्राम जब भी कॉलेज में ऑपरेट किया जाएगा, तो उसके लिए एक उदाहरण रहे। तो उस उदाहरण के लिए, उदाहरण को प्रस्तुत करने के लिए एक प्रयास था। हर रोज की तरह हमारे YouTube व्यूवर्स भी हमारे साथ में जुड़ चुके हैं, तो YouTube व्यूवर्स के जो भी स्टूडेंट्स है, पेरेंट्स है, फैकल्टी मेंबर्स है, सभी का स्वागत है इस सत्र में। सुबह सुबह हम हेल्थ की बात करते हैं और पूरी जो SIP के हेल्थ का मॉड्यूल अगर देखा जाए, तो उसमें एक बात तो स्पष्टता से ये दिखाई दे रही है कि केवल शारीरिक हेल्थ एक बात है और दूसरी बात है कि होलिस्टिक हेल्थ, शरीर के लिए सेल्फ रेगुलेशन की जो रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है, और अगर सेल्फ रेगुलेशन की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी को अगर हम समझ पाए तो शरीर के स्वास्थ्य को इंश्योर करने के लिए भी हमारा प्रयास बना रह सकता है। यही बात को लेकर डॉक्टर शर्मिला अस्थाना जी हमारे साथ में जुड़ी रहेंगी 7:30 से 8:30 तक। तो दीदी के साथ में तो ये सारी हमारी चर्चा होगी ही। अभी भी हमारे पास में लगभग 6 मिनट का समय है, और 6 मिनट के समय में अगर यूट्यूब से जुड़े हुए हमारे जितने भी पार्टिसिपेंट्स हैं, उस पार्टिसिपेंट्स अगर कोई शेयरिंग को रखना चाहते हैं पूरे ईएसआईपी से लेकर आपकी जो अंडरस्टैंडिंग बनी रही, इसके जो इम्पोर्टेंस को आप जिंदगी में देख पाए, तो आप उस शेयरिंग को भी रख सकते हैं। यू कैन राइट योर शेयरिंग ऑन द यूट्यूब अबाउट द content of ESIP, all the modules of ESIP. Similarly, students and the faculty members who have already joined with us through the Zoom, if they want to share, could raise their hand. Rahul Dwivedi, a faculty member, Rabindra Kumar Rautji has also
No,
raised his hand.
Namaste,
Rabindra ji,
sir.
namaste.
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 A lot of explorations from on every moment, sir. What I can say that it is the it can say A to Z skills of life. What has not been taught from morning 7:30 to 5:30 evening, like starting from literature, history, geography, astronomy, physics, psychology, yoga, pranayam, meditation, everything has been taught in this program, and the main aspects of like as you told, sir, holistic aspect of health, and after all, the objective main objective of maintaining of universal human values. It is a complete, I think it is a complete teaching. I have not, I have what I have experienced during last 32 years of my service. What I was searching, it is within the experience, it is within this 12 just days. Lot of say lot of reflections on the students also, and I think what I experienced during 32 years, the students have got that during this short span, and so that they will make their career and their future bright. So this is my sharing, sir. This is really heartfelt thanks to NCCIP and you resource person, sir, and AICT also. A lot of explorations on every aspect. So, and it is a complete value-based education, and I think this will really the main objective will be fulfilled, sir. And this is what I experienced, and it's a wonderful effort by the AICT uh, and NCCIP, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ravindra Kumar ji. So as Ravindra Kumar ji has mentioned, 32 years of life, in the teaching field, and he was basically in search of a complete holistic based education, and this SIP is
Sir,
providing that opportunity to the students and the faculty members.
sir,
So
I have
thank you so
attended
much.
so many meditation, advanced meditation courses, pranayam, and have traveled thousands of kilometers to attend such type of courses, which has been achieved during this span, sir. That is my observation and my self exploration, sir.
Yeah. So thanks to AICT and thanks to NCCIP.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Namaste.
Yeah.
Namaste, sir.
Namaste. Namaste. Thank you. Yes, we have students also joined with us. Guljar Hussain.
Hello, sir. Good morning.
Ji, good morning. Yeah, Rahul.
जी क्लास अब नहीं होगी कि हो गया आगे कवर अप हो गया।
क्या कह रहे राहुल, आपकी पहली आवाज सुनाई नहीं दे रही थी।
हेलो
जी बेटा बताइए।
ये क्लास रिवेन्यू हो गई कि अभी होगी?
हाँ, आपको क्या लगता है यूएचवी की क्लास कंटिन्यू होनी चाहिए नहीं होनी चाहिए, बताइए जल्दी।
यस सर, कंटिन्यू होनी चाहिए।
हाँ, तो ठीक है, तो आप अगर एक कह रहे हैं कंटिन्यू होनी चाहिए तो जरूर कंटिन्यू रहेगी, लेकिन इतना है कि ये एक प्रोग्राम था, एक उदाहरण के तौर पे स्टूडेंट इंडक्शन प्रोग्राम का, तो आज केवल ये प्रोग्राम कंक्लूड हो रहा है। लेकिन स्टूडेंट इंडक्शन प्रोग्राम कॉलेजेस में भी होंगे, उसमें भी यूएचवी की क्लास होगी, और उसके बाद में यूएचवी की जो सब्जेक्ट है ना, वो सब्जेक्ट भी करिकुलम में है बेटा। तो
यस सर।
ये क्लासेस जो है यूएचवी की वो कंटिन्यू होगी। उसके बाद में जो हायर लेवल कोर्सेस है, इलेक्टिव्स है, ये सभी अलग अलग यूनिवर्सिटी में प्रयास हो रही है, जैसे कि अब्दुल कलाम टेक्निकल यूनिवर्सिटी में
यस सर।
यूएचवी के हायर लेवल कोर्सेज भी है, इलेक्टिव्स भी है। तो ये क्लासेस तो बेटा कंटिन्यू होगी, है ना, क्योंकि हमारा जीना तो
थैंक
निरंतर है ही, और उस निरंतर जीने के लिए निरंतर समझना आवश्यक है। ठीक है।
यस
भैया
सर।
शुरू
यस सर।
शुरू करें हम लोग फॉर्मल सेशन।
जी जी दीदी।
थैंक यू सर।
थैंक यू राहुल। नमस्ते दीदी।
नमस्ते नमस्ते भैया, नमस्ते सभी को। एक बार फिर से हम लोग जुड़ रहे हैं इस फिजिकल हेल्थ एंड रिलेटेड एक्टिविटीज के प्रोग्राम में। Once again, namaskar and suprabhat to everyone. Welcome to all participants, students, teachers, parents, and everyone those who are joining with us. I'm of ESIP, AICTE. As we know that in the morning session, we discussed a lot about the yoga session, yoga practice, various asanas, and how to detoxify ourselves. In last 2 days, we have learned. And then we also have learned that how we can observe our body, how we can nourish ourselves, how we can strengthen ourselves. And I'm sure all of us, we know the holistic view of maintaining ourselves healthy, mentally and physically as well. So today we have among us Dr. Sharmila Asthanaji, doctor, MBBS, and she would be discussing with all of us, and probably she will take it to the different height of to know how to keep ourselves healthy and happy. So welcome you, Didi. With this, I would like to provide the mic, and over to you, Didi.
हाँ, नमस्ते नमस्ते
नमस्ते नमस्ते दीदी, स्वागत है आपका।
उमेश जी।
So Dr. Sharmila Asthana Didi is going to share with us sum up and the purpose of holistic human health. Didi, over to you.
जी, so namaste to everyone. Kumar Swami ji is also there, Akhilesh ji is also there. Namaste. Pandey bhaiya, lot of people are there, RP bhaiya. So namaste to all of you.
Namaste, madam.
Namaste. Am I clearly audible?
Yes, madam. Yes, madam.
Okay. Just one moment. Yeah. So, like was mentioned, I'm just going to talk a little bit about the sum up of what we've been talking about in the last few days, and seeing actually even doing practicing of many of those things in the last few days regarding health. I will do a sum up in maybe half the time, and then we will invite Kumar Swami ji also to take up your questions. So I will begin here. So if we look, we started with the basic health principles. And we said that we can understand these principles by exploring into the reality. So we looked at, I will not go into all the details. We went through quite in detail earlier. But two fundamental things that are important to bring back and to recap are, one is that I am not just this body. As a human being, I am a coexistence of self and body. And if I look at the two individually, the self is central to human existence. The body is just a very efficient tool for the self. And so to stay healthy, like we saw, the self has to take responsibility towards the body. So this was one important principle to keep in mind. Another important one to keep in mind was that the human being is naturally related. There is this relationship that we have with everybody, with other human beings, and even with the rest of nature, because we are interconnected, we are interdependent on each other, we are not isolated. We looked at the guidelines for health. So based on those principles of that come from the reality, what to actually do to be healthy, those were our guidelines. And then we looked at implementing these guidelines, what kind of processes, what kind of practices we can do in order to stay healthy. So in the implementation part, we went into a lot of detail over the last few days, how to interact with the body, the state of health on a regular basis, on a day-to-day basis, first thing in the morning, waking up and sort of reading the signals that are there in the body. The body keeps having so many signals in it, and it is up to me to pay attention to them, to read them, to interpret them, to come to some decision, and then accordingly give instructions to the body. So to interact first thing in the morning every day, then we looked at how to identify our body constitution or body type so that we can follow the right guidelines for our body type. We looked at intake, that it has not just to do with food, but also with air, water, sunlight. In fact, everything that I take in through my 5 senses, that all counts as intake, and all of it has an impact on the health of the body. We looked at daily routine, why it's important to have a routine which is in synchronization with nature, because we already mentioned we are, interconnected, interdependent, and the body is material and obeys the material laws of nature. So the daily routine needs to be in sync with nature. And as an example, we can take so many examples are there, but if we just look at digestion, so digestion is at its peak when it is midday, when the sun is overhead. So we can have a routine where we have our biggest meal in time when, and at a time when the digestion is at its peak rather than when it is ebbing. And that is why we talked of having a light dinner, light breakfast, light dinner. So similarly, we looked at importance of labor and exercise, importance of practices like yoga and pranayam, and we did actually practically do these things in the morning sessions in the last few days. And then lastly, we looked at protecting the body from ill health, as well as restoring the harmony of the body when it goes into disharmony and ill health. So all in all, we looked at this program for health, for staying healthy. So intake, daily routine, labor. If we look at these 3 things, what we are classifying as 1A, we said that even if we do this much, 95% of problems can be averted. We need not have these problems that we are seeing, those small problems. Then if we add exercise, some yoga, pranayam to it, by and large, it will take care of maybe 96, 97% of issues that we are facing today. So we can have this focus for staying healthy. And then occasionally, when we are not able to keep up with this program for staying healthy, occasionally when the body goes into some temporary disharmony, we can resort to taking medicine. And it is only when the body goes into permanent disharmony that we need to resort to treatment, which is, when we depend on an outside machine or a drug or some process in order to run the various processes or the functions within the body. So an example of that would be something like diabetes, when we take insulin from outside. So if we look at it today, if we see where our focus is going in modern medicine today, our focus is for quick. I have diabetes, let's pop a pill and reduce the blood sugar and it should be fine. Problem is, it's not fine, because if you see things in piecemeal, it really doesn't give you the full picture. So we are not able to resolve this issue at the larger level. So the blood sugar might drop, but now that you have taken some medicine, the medicine itself will have some side effects, and that process keeps going. So we don't really resolve the issue. So it's like if you see a piece from a jigsaw puzzle. So if you see the piece in isolation, you'll have no idea where it goes, how to fix things, what is the full picture. But the moment you see the full picture, you know exactly where it goes. You can see the color of the piece, you have some idea where exactly it goes, and you can fit it in the picture. So similarly, when we look at, quick fixes, like I have tonsillitis, what can I do? What kind of yoga can I do for this? A headache, what kind of medicine can I do? Kind of small quick fixes may work temporarily, short time, but to be able to sustain health with this, the whole picture is what we are saying. See, we said that for the program of health, the self needs to take responsibility. Now, when will the self take responsibility? When the self is healthy. So what is a healthy self? A healthy self is one that is in harmony. And when is this self in harmony? The self is in harmony when my desires, my thoughts, my whole imagination is in line with my natural acceptance. So if we look at it in a little diagrammatic way so that we can understand it better. So if you see the small green part that is depicting the body with activities like walking, talking, eating, and so on. If you look at the yellow part, is the slide visible? Health in the self?
Yes, madam.
What is visible? Because I think I have
Health
moved.
body needs healthy self.
This is
Health in self equal to harmony in the self.
Didi,
Ji.
yeah, implementation, how to stay healthy. This slide is there on the Zoom, and YouTube runs little behind the Zoom.
No, I think I lost my connection.
But you are audible. We are able to hear you.
Okay, but I think, my screen is gone.
Yeah, now your screen is gone on the Zoom.
Yes. Hold on one moment. I think, Pandey Bhaiya, are you going to share? You have the slides?
Yeah, Pandiji is sharing.
Okay.
पांडे जी शेयर कर पा रहे हैं ना आप?
Yes, भैया, I have shared. Didi's slide will going to share na?
हाँ हाँ.
Okay, but I don't.
One second. We'll just try it with maybe another phone connection so that we can have the. Just give me a minute, because if we keep moving forward, then without the pictures, it might be
जी.
follow.
पांडे जी आप शेयरिंग को स्टॉप कर सकते हैं ताकि दीदी ट्राई कर ले वहां से.
Meanwhile, we can take some reflections from the students. Any thoughts on or observations on what I have just talked about?
जी दीदी काफ़ी स्टूडेंट्स के हैंड रेज्ड है. फैकल्टी मेंबर भी है. तो डॉक्टर अरुण कुमार जी, फैकल्टी मेंबर. दीपक कुमार, आपके पास में माइक है. प्रोफेसर भूपेश कुमार, मीना जी, आपके पास में माइक है. JK Abish, you have mic.
Okay, I think we'll move ahead.
Okay, Didi. ठीक है. Yes,
I
now your presentation is visible.
वहाँ से
Yes.
शेयर कर रहे थे इसलिए प्रॉब्लम हुआ.
ठीक है,
Network.
ठीक.
So anyway, if I'm sharing, I can show it. So, ठीक है. So now you can see it clearly, right? That we are talking about the body is there in the light green kind of
Yeah,
thing.
health
And
in the self is equal to harmony in the self.
yeah. So, so these activities are going on in the body. The body is depicted here in the lower part, and the yellow part above is depicting the self. And similarly, in the self, imagination is going on, desires, thoughts, expectations are going on continuously. And these activities are happening all the time, while the activities in the body are happening some of the time. Now, in the self, if you see, this imagination is a lower activity within the self. And based on this, we are able to survive. We are able to give instructions to the body and, interact with others. So we interact with other human beings, and this we give instructions to the body, and this reflects in our behavior. We work with the rest of nature. But if you look, this particular part, this is what I am. This is what is my current competence. But there is a higher activity in the self also, the natural acceptance. You can think of it as what you really want to be, or your conscience, or your inner voice, or innate intention, or your purpose. And due to this natural acceptance, I have right understanding and right feeling within me, which can guide my imagination. And if you see further, whenever this natural acceptance is guiding my desires, my thoughts, my imagination, then there is harmony within me. There is harmony within the self. And this is in line with the natural acceptance. So this is what leads to happiness, harmony within the self, is what we are saying. So if we take an example, now I have a natural acceptance to eat food that is nurturing for my body. So you can see in that picture, lots of fresh fruit. So fresh fruit, vegetables, food that is nurturing for the body. So I have a natural acceptance for this. But do I always eat this way? This is what I want. But what I am is sometimes there, sometimes there. Sometimes I eat food that is nurturing for the body. But there are other times when I eat food for taste, for the sensation of happiness. So, whatever I like the taste of on the tongue, I eat that. Whatever I dislike, I don't eat that. So that could be one thing. Sometimes I eat food due to some assumption that it will lead to happiness. So when my peers are taking junk food, I feel, okay, they are, some happiness, some fun is there. Everybody is doing this, let me also do. So I join in. So sometimes I eat that, even though it is not nurturing for the body. You may recall some few years back, at least it was there. I don't know if it is still there. There was an ad for a cold drink. So they would show, on the TV, all these young people sitting together, laughing, joking, like they're having a lot of fun. And then somebody would open the cold drink, and the tagline was "Open Happiness." So now you are assuming, on a subtle level, you have seen this, and it has got registered within you that if I drink this, I will have a whole nice company of friends, and we'll be enjoying, and I'll be happy. So this has now become part of my imagination. It was not part of my natural acceptance. The thought may not have occurred to me. It was not my desire. But when I see this ad, now it becomes my desire, and I go after it. So for that time, for that moment, I may have some pleasure. But whenever I am acting against or going away from my natural acceptance, there is contradiction in the self. And whenever there is contradiction in the self, there is unhappiness, and it certainly has an impact on the body. So this is an unhealthy self, and accordingly, it has an unhealthy effect on the body. And if you see, it's not just about food, it's about everything that you think about. So I have a natural acceptance for relationship, but I am not always having this feeling of relationship. We've taken trust as an example because trust is the foundation value in relationship. So although I have a natural acceptance for relationship, I may not always be in relationship. I may not always have a feeling of relationship. Sometimes I have a feeling of opposition for others. Sometimes I am angry. Whenever I am angry, it means I don't have a feeling of relationship. Otherwise, I will not be angry. I will have a feeling of affection. So whenever I have these feelings within me, there is contradiction in the self. And all of this contradiction, this leads to unhappiness. This is an unhealthy self. And actually, if you go to look at it, this is what is stress. So this stress is causing a problem in a large number of diseases today. In fact, there is a Harvard study that says that more than 90% of problems that people go to doctors for, more than 90% of these problems are linked to stress. So if you see, maximum problems are because of stress. But they also go on to say in the study that only 3% of doctors talk about stress. And if you see, what are they talking about stress? They talk about how to avoid the stressful situation, how to go about taking some medicine to help with the stress. So if we see, this can be fixing the problem at a lower level once the problem starts showing up in the body. But what we are saying is you can fix the problem even before it shows up in the body. You can fix it at the level of the self. So if we are able to identify it, we are able to see our imagination, our desires, our thoughts. Excuse me, one moment. So if I am able to see my desires, my thoughts, and if I am able to see if they are in line with the natural acceptance or not, I am able to fix this problem before it impacts the body, before it can cause a health problem. So this would be far more preferable than waiting for the problem to show up in the body. So when we look at health holistically, so we are not just looking at the physical health or the health of the body. We are also looking at the mental health or the health of the self. That is possible by understanding the human being, understanding the self, and seeing how to have harmony in the self. It also means to see what kind of conditions can lead to a change in this. So anything that impacts the health of the self or the health of the body. So we have to look at the health of the environment also. So we have to understand the environment, seeing harmony in the family, harmony in the society, harmony in nature and existence, and how we can live in harmony in all of these to have a healthy environment so that we can have holistically a view of health, a perspective that is wholesome. So now, if you look at, okay, we have achieved, suppose we have gotten there and we've achieved human health. Now what? So health, is it the ultimate? Is it the end in itself? Or is it a means to something? Is it a means to a higher end, a higher purpose for me? So what we are saying is that a healthy body is just a means for fulfilling the purpose of the self. And what is the purpose of the self? The purpose of the self is to achieve its highest potential possible. Now, how to go about achieving this highest potential? This highest potential is to understand the harmony and to live in harmony at all the levels that I live in. So, as an individual, within myself, in the family, in society, and in nature and existence. So, if I see, we just spoke about harmony in the self. Whenever my desires and thoughts are in line with my natural acceptance, there is harmony in the self. That leads to happiness, and that is a healthy self. So, in that sense, you understand the harmony and live in harmony as an individual. And when I have that, then I have this feeling of self regulation within me, this feeling of responsibility towards my body. And because of that, I take care of the body. So the health of the body becomes a natural outcome to all of this. If we see in the self, when I'm able to see this, understand this whole existence, then I will be able to see that I have a natural acceptance for coexistence in this existence. I have a natural acceptance for harmony, for order in nature around. And I have a natural acceptance for this feeling of relationship with everything around me, not just human beings, but everything that I interact with. And I have a certain role to play. I have a certain participation in all of this. And when I'm in line with this natural acceptance, then I'm a healthy self. And like we said, of course, we have a feeling of responsibility towards the body. The health of the body becomes a natural outcome. I don't have to make effort for it. I don't have to try to just work with one small piece of the jigsaw puzzle. Now I can put the piece in its rightful place and get a full view of the whole picture. So now it becomes effortless, because anyway I am in line with this. I don't have to take special effort to take care of my body. So ultimately, that is the aim. So here we can see the blue dot is the individual, that is, each one. And if we see this blue dot in isolation, we think we have to work so hard of the body to take care of so many things. But when we see that we are part is the society and the green part is the nature. So when I'm able to see that I am just not by myself all alone somewhere, I am embedded in all of this. I have to play. I have every level. So at my own level, I have to take responsibility for my own happiness. I have to take responsibility for the health of the body. This was my participation for within myself as a human being. Then in the family, ensure the feeling of relationship from my side for others. I participate in the harmony. I can participate in the society. I ensure this feeling of justice, the feeling of peace with myself. And then find it, I can ensure the fearlessness and trust in society. And similarly with nature, since I have a natural inclination, I have a natural acceptance, this coexistence in nature, I
Didi, you're not audible.
Yes, now I think I'm audible now.
Yes.
Am I? Yes. Hello. Am
yes,
I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. I lost my phone connection just for a moment, but it's back. Okay, so I was talking about nature, harmony in nature, living in harmony at the level of nature. So at the level of nature, I am able to see this, that I have a natural acceptance for mutual fulfillment with the rest of nature. So I will live with that fulfillment. I will take what I need from nature, but at the same time enrich it also. So all of these I need to keep in view when I look at health in general. So that's what I have to share. I think we are, maybe we can take one question. If somebody has a question, we can take one question perhaps.
Professor Jyoti Ranjan is with us. Sir,
yes.
Do you want to ask any question? Professor Jyoti Ranjan. Student Salvia, you want to ask any question? Salvia?
You can unmute your mic, Salvia. Speak.
No, ma'am.
Okay. Some raised hands were there, so we asked. Did you want to say something? Arjun?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So if anybody has, maybe we can just lower all the hands because it's... if anybody has a question, you can raise your hand and we'll pass you the mic. Muhammad Ishaq.
Ji.
You have a question?
No, ma'am.
Mr. Vasantan is also raised. One of our faculty member.
Yes.
Vasantanji, namaste.
Have a question or an observation to make?
Mr. Arpan Khan. Mr. Arpan Khan.
I think Vasantanji is...
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
You have also...
Good morning, ma'am. Very good morning.
Morning. Good morning.
Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, you're audible.
Ma'am, actually... yes, ma'am. Actually, sometimes due to some reasons, maybe lost the harmony in myself.
Mm-hmm.
Then how I can bring my harmony myself, and because if I bring myself, I can extend that harmony to my family and society and so on. So
yeah. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So I think, we can see that we are all work in progress. We haven't gotten there. And there will be many times that we lose our harmony. But the important thing to know is that so far we were looking outside. We were not even aware of this losing harmony and, the importance of this in the health of the self and health of the body. At least we are aware of this now. And the important thing is to become aware of what we are thinking, what we are feeling at each moment in our life, every day, each moment. Now, it might sound like a very big thing, but as we start slowly this process of becoming aware, we find that we become more and more aware. And it starts becoming very clear to us that now this is where I'm losing my harmony, and we can sort of bring it back. So it will take time. It's not something that can happen overnight quickly. But I think if we see that at least if we step on that path, even if we have taken one step on that path, we can see the path, we can see where we need to go, and then we keep moving in that direction. So initially we may have to remind ourselves a lot of times, okay, I lost my harmony. But once we are able to see that this is causing me unhappiness, then it becomes a major motivation for me to start moving in that direction. And then I don't have to keep reminding myself each time. I become more aware and I become more responsible to have the right feeling within myself. So I think, then we can sort of have the harmony back. But it will take some time. I think it is important to realize that, but also not to get disheartened by that, but to feel heartened that at least we know where to go. And at least we have taken one step in that direction. So then the next will follow. Does that help?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for your observation. I think we can also invite Kumar Swamiji. Kumar Swamiji, you are there?
Yeah, I'm there, madam.
Yeah,
Can you hear
namaste,
me?
namaste.
Namaste.
Yes, absolutely, we can. So for anybody who has any questions for Kumar Swamiji is there. He can also address some questions. You can raise your hands and ask your question.
Aditya NG has raised his hand. Aditya ji, you want to ask any question?
You will have to unmute your mic. I guess not. The raised hand is gone. Abhish, JK Abhish, you have a raised hand. Would you like to say something?
No, ma'am.
So nobody has questions for me or Kumar Swamiji?
Then
On YouTube, madam.
Yes.
Sankari R asked that my only stress relief is I used to go. One more. She has asked previously about what is the right time to do the meditation, and yeah, what is the meditation right way, ma'am, to connect with her soul? What is the right time to do meditation? That is what she asked you.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So I think, to begin with, a lot of times we choose the early morning hours for this meditation process because that is a time of quiet that we have spoken. Kumar Swamiji had mentioned the other day about Brahmi Murtam. So this is a very pure time. We have, lot of creative thoughts in us, and we makes us feel good at, to be awake at that time. And a lot of times we start the process of meditation at that time. Some people sit with eyes closed, some people sit with eyes open, some people focus on a candle and all sorts of things. And ultimate aim is to look at your thoughts and align your thoughts. So what we are saying is that you can start at any time, but ultimately it has to be a 24-hour thing. It has to be every moment. Only then can it lead to my happiness in continuity. Because every moment that I have a feeling that is not naturally acceptable to me, at that very moment,
Hello, madam.
Madam, we lost your voice.
Madam, you are not audible.
Maybe some
Hello,
network issue. Maybe some network issue, Mr. Kailas ji.
yeah,
Okay,
I'm
sir.
back. Again, I had a loss of connection. You can hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Audible. Kailas ji,
Yeah.
please ask your question.
Hello.
Ji.
Yes.
Proceed.
Sir, this is Kailash Atkare from Aurangabad.
Ji, namaste.
Namaste. Namaste. Good morning, sir. Sir, am I audible?
Yes, sir. You
Hello.
can ask your question.
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir. You are audible. You can ask your question.
Hello.
Ji, sir. You are audible to us. Okay, we may proceed further. Mr. Rishikesh.
Yes, ma'am. My question is to Sharmila, ma'am. Ma'am,
Yes.
do you have tips for journaling?
Tips for?
Journaling.
Yeah. So I think journaling is a very good idea for becoming aware of one's thoughts and imaginations all the time. So what I would do is, I can tell you personally what I did at some point. Quite some time back, when I was feeling the need and I felt like I needed to become aware more frequently. What I started doing was putting a reminder on my phone to remind myself to become aware, like an alarm or something. So even while I was at work or wherever I was, the alarm would go off every hour or every 2 hours. And it was just a reminder for me to check on whatever observation I was trying to see. Like if my observation was to see that I don't have a feeling of opposition.
ये आवाज बहुत धीमी हुई है।
अभी सुनाई आ रहा है?
जी हाँ मैडम।
थोड़ी सी तेज कर सकते हो।
अच्छा।
Ma'am, it was fine all along.
Okay.
It's fine, madam.
So, all right.
Okay.
So, when I'm observing like this, initially I have to make effort to put some alarm or something to remind myself. But soon, in no time at all, I become aware of this by myself, and I find that I don't need the alarm. Similarly, for actually writing down, journaling, at the end of the day, or in the first thing in the morning. First thing in the morning, you might want to just note down a few points of what your observation is going to be all day. And at night, you can spend maybe 10-15 minutes reflecting before you go to bed at how you progressed during the day. What your goal you had set in the morning and where you are at night. How many times you lost control, or you lost, if you lose awareness, you may not even be aware, but at least you were able to see that somewhere you were not in harmony within yourself for whatever reason. And then you can note it down. And so you will find that as you go further, when you are looking at your journal, you will be able to see your progress, and that will be very rewarding. I personally didn't write down, but anybody who is doing that, you might want to think of that. Does that answer your question?
Yes, ma'am, it does. Thank you.
Hello, madam. This is Vinay from Bangalore, madam.
Please, sir. Please ask
Yes.
your question.
Hello.
Yes, please go ahead.
This is Vinay from Bangalore.
Vinay.
Yeah. So just I want to know, it's my nature, I don't know. Somehow I don't tend to accept challenges, or fear of losing it, or sometimes anxiety develops. If somebody, higher authorities, somebody calls, he's calling or something, I feel something I've done mistake, or so some sort of anxiety, and to accept the challenges. Somewhere finally I can do that. I know I will do that when there's a pose on me. But initially I feel that sort of disturbance in my mind, whether to accept or not to accept. When finally thrown on me, I do the job in a way more efficient. This is what I so what is that reason and how to overcome it?
Yeah, so I think that has to do with a non-acceptance of the way things are. So when I have something that is not, what we do is we tend to identify with a certain thought, a certain idea, or a certain thought process. And whenever something outside of that boundary comes, we feel sort of shaken up, or we don't feel comfortable. We have our own comfort zone. So in that boundary, if something comes, we are easy to accept it. But when it is outside that boundary, we don't accept. And so there is this uncomfortable feeling. There can be anxiety. There can be so many, feelings that are not naturally acceptable to us. So one can see that, okay, whatever the situation may be, now when it is thrust on us somehow, because we don't see any alternative, we are forced to do it. And then when we do, we find that it's not so bad after all. Have you noticed that?
Yes, yes, madam. Oh, so easy. I could have easily accepted in the beginning itself, and that disturbance in the mind could have been avoided like that.
True. So now the same thing I can do by choice. There I was sort of forcing, going by the flow. Here I can do it by choice. So once I become aware, I can think of this and see that, this is the situation. What's the worst that can happen? Let me try it and see. So when I do that, I'm taking the, I'm choosing to proactively take that decision, and that can make all the difference.
Okay, so
you can try it.
Accept it more happiness. Okay.
Yes, yes.
One student
doing unhappily. So now we can do it in a state of happiness.
Okay.
In YouTube, one Gursimranji is asking, ma'am, if we don't play our role, then does it affect our health? our roles in all the
Yes.
levels.
Yes. Yeah. So what we are saying is that we have a natural acceptance for this role. We have a natural acceptance within us for coexistence in existence. We have a natural acceptance for harmony. We have a natural acceptance for relationship. So anytime we go against our natural acceptance, at that very moment that we go against this, we will have a feeling of unhappiness and we will have a feeling of conflict within us. And that is stress. So immediately we may not see, but ultimately we may be able to see that this impacts. And slowly, as we become more and more aware of our thoughts, our feelings, we will find that we can become aware of this at that very moment when it happens. That yes, now this thought I had or this feeling I had, and this has led to my unhappiness. So certainly we can see that, but it might take a little practice, a little time to be able to observe that. I hope that answers the question.
Didi, Aditya Acharya has a question on YouTube. Some good foods like bitter gourd taste bad to our tongue, whereas pizza, for example, is bad for our health, tastes good. Is that thing good for the health taste bad and vice versa in general?
Yeah. Kumar Swamiji, would you like to also?
Yeah, yes, madam. It's a good question that you should take really.
Yes.
That is very important thing in this principally. All that is good and all that is tasty. Usually they link whatever is tasty, whatever I like is good for me. They are two different things. You may feel you may eat when your sensory information tells you that is very tasty and very nice. How do you know it is good or bad? You have no idea, and that does not even give you that information at all. So we say in our traditional words, for example, hita, ahita, sukha and dukkha. See, sukha is that pleasantness that you get by the taste, and you will be carried away by this. And what makes you this taste is purely sensory. Your mental and the conscious, that is the way to differentiate between good and bad, is a higher and a different faculty. And normally, human beings are used to remain in a comfort zone without going into an analytical or the informative or the traditional knowledge of good and bad. That's why rightly he has asked, bitter gourd tastes very bitter, but it's good. You know it is good that you have that information now because of various informations availability. Whereas this pizza is made to taste for you, it is purely a business kind of a setup. Most of our food that is sold over the market has got this tendency. So please remember, these two things, that is good and conducive, are not directly related. They are totally different things, and that comes to you only by a good analytical knowledge or good background information about the health. This is true with so many foods, not just two that we have quoted. Taking this continuation, madam, I thought if there are not any other questions readily available. Hello?
Yes, yes, Kumar Swamiji.
Yeah. Why do we lose the harmony? I think all our youngsters must make an introspection about how is it that the harmony is lost, and am I responsible, or is there something else which is responsible? Principle, I will just touch upon the principle about this. All of you try to analyze everything that you do silently, whether it has brought to you a happiness or whether it brought to you a sadness. If you analyze that, then you will carefully apply your power of this consciousness, that is the intellect, which can tell you about what is it that you have done. Have you done it? Usually, the way it happens is our senses gather the information. I will tell you in your engineering language, gather the information which will be translated into data. This is a raw data. You do not have any knowledge of whether this is good or bad. This good or bad, now you have to apply your mind and try to analyze everything that it is done with regard to whether it is good for me, whether it is not good for me. So when you consciously do that, then what happens is you will get a realization about this. And then you get that acceptance that you have been speaking about. Yes, this is where I did this mistake. For this, in our tradition, there is a beautiful methodology which has been given for us to analysis. What happens is, see, the tendency of our mind is always to go something which makes you happy. That is very, very common for every one of us. And that point of time, normally, particularly youngsters, do not have that application of mind whether should you go or not going. For this, they need either the information which is there in the tradition or in the culture or from the books or anywhere. And today, for most of the things, the information is not available to you. How do you know pizza is bad or good? How do you know it is not? It is good only. It may be good. Who knows? But we don't have that information properly. So the tendency of mind is this desire which prompts you to go for that. So this close thing is explained in a beautiful line. Sangat sanjayate kama. Kama is desire. When you get it, you are happy. When you don't get it, you become unhappy. Kamat krodho bijayate. You get anger. You get distress. You stressed out. I didn't get it. I didn't get it the way you want. And at this point of time, this will lead to another thing. Krodha bhavati sammoha. The mind goes to a state where the power of discrimination is gradually get masked. Sammoha smriti vibrama. Now you have an information field, the knowledge that we have gained from the past experiences. This will not function properly when in anger, in an anxiety, in a state of stress. So you could already know a disharmony is building up slowly in you. One single thought which has come in your mind, and then the action has given rise to this thing. Imagine from day to morning to evening, how many such things will happen, and the mind has to continuously manage. For this purpose, you should have a mind which is powerful. So normally in our tradition, we say you have to keep the mind always very strong. In Hindi and Sanskrit, it is called monobala. Just like the power, the strength of the body, mind also should have that power, that strength. Usually, there are things which will pull the mind downwards. And this disharmony is very, very important thing which make the mind weak. So all our actions and associations, our problems are all built up like this over a period of time. So the only answer is see that you govern the mind. Don't allow the mind to govern you. The difference is when you govern, you act with the power of your intelligence, the buddhi in Hindi and Sanskrit call it as. The buddhi gives you that valuable information. For this, the cultivation, practice, coherence, and maintenance of harmony consciously, they are all giantly necessary. Okay? Any questions?
Thank you, Kumar Swamiji.
Yeah.
And I'll just add what Kumar Swamiji is saying as buddhi or, your higher intelligence is the same thing that we are calling here natural acceptance or understanding.
Yes,
so
yes, self.
when that is, so when that is guiding our thoughts and our desires, then we are in harmony, then we have happiness, and that one can actually see that. That is something we can have continuity. The pizza may give happiness for as long as the pizza is on the tongue, but after it goes down into the throat, that happiness is gone. So this happiness within can stay. That possibility of continuity is there, and that is what I desire really.
Yes,
that is what the need is. Yeah. Thank you so much, Kumar.
Continuous balancing act.
Yes.
Conscious balancing act. He has put the question very rightly about pizza and taking the bitter gourd. Yeah.
Rajeshwari Bhaskar has a question.
Yes.
Even though I play my role, I am not appreciated, but always get scolding. What should I do?
Yeah. So for something like this, if we see, we have a natural acceptance that when I treat the other person a certain way, that they also treat me the same way. So it's okay to have that expectation. It's like, it's not bad to have a certain expectation. But only thing is, when I'm basing my happiness on that, then there is a problem. So now my whole expectation is that the other person should not scold me. So what I can do is, I can see that they are scolding for whatever reason. Maybe they don't have this, they have a feeling of opposition at that time. But can I ensure this feeling of relationship from my side to begin with? And what I find is, and you can experiment with it and see, that when you ensure feeling from within yourself, so you have this feeling of affection for the other person, then you get over this feeling of unhappiness. And how will you see this relationship with the other person? Think about it like this, that when do you scold or get angry with somebody? Do you do it when you are feeling comfortable inside or when you are uncomfortable inside? And you will find that when you are feeling some pain within, when you are uncomfortable, when you are feeling some unhappiness within, that's when you start expressing it outside to others, because you can only give what you have. So when you're happy, you share your happiness. When you're unhappy, unfortunately, you share your unhappiness. So if I'm able to see that when that person is scolding, they themselves are not comfortable, that immediately changes my feeling. Instead of reacting to it, instead of shouting back or getting angry within, I am able to see that they are shouting or they are scolding because they are uncomfortable. So now I have a feeling of affection and I start thinking, okay, I also do the same when I'm uncomfortable. Then I start looking at ways on how to help them. When I do this again and again, the other person is able to see that my behavior has become better. They are able to appreciate my behavior. Then they become open to discussion. Then I can talk to them. Then I can tell them that, see, this disturbs me and I get unhappy. And we can sort of mutually discuss the issue. So I hope that answers the question.
Ma'am,
There
I'm
are some
audible.
other. Yes, Vanama Devi ji, please go.
Ma'am, at the social level, can you project something some way for the first year students or for the beginners to carry out some responsibility at social level?
Yeah. So the very fact that if we can think of the society, that I am a part of this society, any small thing that I can do to contribute to the harmony in society, I can go about doing it. So whether it be involving other students and say, being having this feeling of relationship with other human beings in society and doing some work with them. So it could be whatever activity that we may be associated with. If I have a skill of, say, computer science, then I can approach children in society who may not have those facilities that I have, and maybe I can help teach them some of my skills with the feeling of relationship. So that would be something that I'm doing for society. Or if I have certain, if I have learned something, if I have understood some values, then sharing those values with others in society, that can be my participation, that can be my role. Yeah. Does that answer your question?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome. I think Mr. Kaur Niranjan Kumar, your hand is raised. You can unmute your mic and speak. Did you have a question or observation? I guess not. Pragati?
Hello.
Yes, hello.
Good morning, ma'am.
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It was by mistake I raised the hand. I do not have any question. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I can see some other hands raised, but Pragati, I'm not sure. Professor Uttam
Madam,
Kal.
Reshmi Joshi from YouTube is asking, I have a trait anxiety. I get very anxious in unfamiliar situation. I'm always anxious and I have a lot of negative thoughts.
Yeah. Yeah. So many of us, we have certain, it may be something that is subconsciously there, that something may have happened in the past that left us with some sort of impression, which we are not totally conscious about, and that may be causing some anxiety. So I think, when we try to see our thoughts and we try to see our feelings with the thoughts, the feeling behind the thought, as we become more and more aware, we may notice some of these things within us, and that may be able to clarify for us where that anxiety is coming from. But really, an acceptance for others and an acceptance of the situation is what is lacking, and that is why there is anxiety. So if I focus myself on this, what we talked about, that if I'm able to see that I have a natural acceptance for coexisting with others, being in harmony with others, having this feeling of relationship with others, then I will be in harmony, I will be at peace within myself. So when I'm able to see this, then if I ensure these feelings within myself, then there will be no anxiety. It's only when I'm seeing myself in isolation and I'm not accepting the situation of or human beings around that I have this feeling of anxiety. So one can try to become more aware of one's thoughts and go.
I have a question. Ma'am, is Dr. Sundarraj sir there?
I think he's.
Yes, I am there.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Sir, I have a question for you. So, can you please throw some light on good sitting posture?
Yeah. See, when you are sitting before a computer or sitting for a long time, the angle between your trunk and the thighs, it should be 90 degrees or more than 90 degrees, never less than 90 degrees. And again, the angle between angle at the knee joint, it can be 90 degrees or more than 90 degrees, but not less than 90 degrees. Means you should not keep your feet inside your chair. You can put it straight, or you can keep them on your footrest on your table or something in the footrest place. So your spinal cord, your backbone should be erect, and there is a small curvature in the lower part of your backbone which needs to be preserved. If you are sitting for a longer period, there are some very nice simple back rests available for 100 rupees or 150 rupees on Amazon, which you can put it in your chair, whether it is your chair or in your car seat, which will help us maintain the curvature of the spinal cord on a long-term basis. And when you are sitting before your computer, your monitor should be at your eye level, and while you're typing, the angle between your palm and your forearm, it should always be 180 degrees. It should not be less than 180 degrees or more than 180 degrees. So if
Thank
Madam
you,
wants to add something.
Sundaraj. I think
Thank you, sir.
Because of your description, we all sat up straight, at least for some moments.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, please go ahead.
Ma'am, how do we develop harmony in society, ma'am?
Yeah, so see, right now, the society may not be in harmony. We are able to see that. from my side, what can be my role in contributing to the harmony in society? I have to see that. So when I play my part, at least I ensure that feeling within myself, it will take care of happiness within me for the, at least, while I ensure that feeling. So with that feeling of happiness within me, now I can take part in the society, I can play my role. And similarly, when a lot of people are playing their role, there will be complete harmony in society. It will take time, because over so many hundreds of years, the society has become from good to bad. So again, to make it come back to a good state, it will take time and effort. But if we all contribute, then it will happen a lot faster. And if we don't contribute and we keep complaining, then we have become part of the problem in society. We are not part of the solution. So we can proactively take that choice and be a part of the solution rather than part of the problem. But it will definitely take some time. I think, is that okay? Does that answer your question?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Madam, so many questions on YouTube. They are more related to mental health. They are asking so many questions about anxiety or depression. Someone is asking about satisfaction, dissatisfaction, and particularly not getting motivation from the family. And all they get is demotivation. How to stay positive? How to get rid of depression? So many questions more about the mind, self.
Yeah, I think, the important thing for everybody to keep track of is that we all have that potential of reaching our maximum, our highest potential. We all have that potential within us. We just have to ensure the feelings within us. And once we ensure the feelings within us, then the outside doesn't affect us so much. Then we can get rid of all these anxiety, depression, and so many other things. They are all showing up, in different forms, but they are expressions of the same thing. That I am not having that, I am not ensuring that feeling within myself. So if we ensure the feelings that are naturally acceptable within ourselves, like how we discussed in the UHV lectures on relationship, ensuring these feelings within ourselves, that will give us that harmony within us. And when we are in harmony within us, then nothing from outside affects us so much. So hopefully people will be able to experiment with it and see. I think we are quite out of time, so we may want to officially at least close the session so that those who would like to leave and go do whatever needs to be taken care of, they can leave. And if others have few questions, perhaps we can take few more. What do you say, Umesh ji?
Ji, Didi. It's already 8:37.
That's
So officially we can close this session. Thank you so much, Dr. Kumar Swami ji, Dr. Sundar Raj ji, Dr. Sharmila Astana Didi, and Dr. Abhishek ji for this one, Akhilesh ji for this wonderful, very informative, practical sessions on health throughout this eSIP. So thank you so much. So officially we close this session here. Officially we close this session here, but still we can take couple of sessions. Sorry, the couple of questions. So officially participants, if they have some other engagement, other commitments, can leave, but still we'll take couple of questions.
मैं वही सोच रही थी कि जी जी
जी, तो faculty members and students have, we could see their hands. Aditya N, Mridula G.
Good morning. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, Mridula ji.
Yeah. Partially, ma'am, you have already answered my question, but still, I wish to ask you again, like regarding the happiness. If we are feeling unhappy because of somebody's action, and then consciously we can make ourselves happy, but sometimes maybe during the sleep time, or maybe unconsciously, that thought is again reappearing. So how to get rid of that? Consciously, okay, fine, we are able to come to that stage that okay, it may be because of some misunderstanding that they might have behaved in a certain way, but I still feel that the thought reoccurs. So how to get rid of that?
Yeah. So I think when we are starting out in that process, it may seem like that. But the moment I am able to see that when I changed my feeling, see, thought comes from feeling. The feeling is at a deeper, more subtle level than the thought. So at the superficial level, when I'm trying to change the thought, but somewhere my feeling is not in line with that, or my thought is
Exactly.
not in line with my feeling, that's when the problem happens. So I have to work on the feeling. And that's when I find, when I work on the feeling, and how do you work on the feeling? You just observe how you feel when you change. So you will feel that happiness, you will feel more comfortable inside. That will give you so much comfort that show you that this is the right feeling for me. Once you see that right feeling, now no amount of thoughts can disturb that, because thought is a little more gross than the feeling part.
Yes, ma'am.
So I think if you just become aware of it more often and keep observing, you will be able to see that. Once you are
Thank you.
able to see that, then no problem at all. Then you
Yes.
can need not get disturbed by it.
So maybe it may take a longer time,
It
possibly.
might take long. Certain, see, we have so many impressions we've been living with for such a long time. We tend to react when somebody says something into pain, or we react or something like that. So to start with, at least let us see that they may be uncomfortable in some way. So we are rationalizing. At this point, we are rationalizing with our thought process. And that is why it tends to change back. At a certain time, we think that way, but then again at night, we think it is not resolved and we get back to the
Yes.
same thoughts. Because these thoughts are like I said, they are more gross than the feeling. So we are trying to analyze it. But actually, the thought is coming from a feeling. So somewhere inside, there is still that feeling of opposition towards the other person.
Yes.
And that's why to resolve it, the thought level. So I
And
work on the part.
many a times we come back to the stage zero, and then again we have to start all over again, and then
Yeah, I say that it is zero, because the very fact that we became aware of it, that means that we are somewhere on that path. And I think the motivation really very strongly once you are able to see the feeling. But I would
and
say,
we
don't give up on that. Keep working on it, and it will happen.
yes, we
Nidhi, can we
value
take
the
one more
relations.
question? Just a last question from Sureka Dikshit ji.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hello, good morning, sir. I am Sureka Dikshit.
Ji.
Sir, my question was that how pranayam helps in strengthening our joints, and how much time we have to do every day.
Kumar Swami ji, would you like
Kumar
to
Swami.
take that? Kumar Swami ji is there?
Madam,
Mic muted, but we're not able to hear.
I think my sir's voice is not audible.
Oh, you want to take that, Sundaraj ji?
Yes, madam.
Okay, go ahead.
So pranayam helps at a cellular level. It helps in regeneration of cells, production of
Okay.
new cells. So people, I have one dentist told me that her patients who were practicing regular pranayam were able to fill the holes in their teeth in their tooth easily just by practicing pranayam regularly. Even the
Oh,
teeth is getting regenerated. A dentist told me from Bangalore.
okay.
So it is obvious that by regular practice of pranayam, you will be able to strengthen your knee joints. Of course, you have to do some exercises for knee joints. You have to nourish your body. You have to give more food items which will directly strengthen the skeletal system. But regular practice of pranayam will ensure that this food will be utilized properly to regenerate your knee joints. Of course, maybe you can start with 15 minutes a day, and if you have time, if you can do twice a day, it will be wonderful. You can also go till half an hour like that if you have time and
Okay.
really want to make it faster.
Yeah, yeah, that is very great, sir. Actually, I have heard a wonderful experience that our tooth cavities are also get healed because of
Yes, yes.
pranayam.
That was told by a dentist.
Yeah, yeah, miss, it is proved that. But sir, for knee joints, what exercise we have to do?
Knee joint exercises now we may not be able to tell you, but there
At
are
least
so many
name. Yeah.
there are so many both static and dynamic exercises which
Okay.
you can do to strengthen your knees. So
Oh,
I may not be able to demonstrate right now,
yeah,
but
yeah.
we can connect at a different level, and we can tell
Oh.
you this thing.
Okay, I will send you the mail, sir. Then you can,
Yes, yes,
in
yes.
that one, you
You can
can
send a mail.
write
Yeah,
names
that
and how much time we have to do that one. That.
yes, yes, yes.
Okay, thank you, Dikshit ji,
Thank. Yeah.
and thank you, Dr. Sundar Raj ji, Dr. Kumar Swami ji, Dr.
Thank
Sharmila
you,
Asthana
sir.
ji, and Dr. Akhilesh ji
Yeah.
for your wonderful sessions on health. So with this, we close this session here. We'll meet at 9:30
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
with our next session, and that is for familiarization of department, branch, and innovation by AKG College of Engineering, Ghaziabad. So
Thank
thank you.